Hope you're having an amazing one, Wrestlezona family, and welcome back whenever you happen to be tuning in. My name is Lance Reese, your definitive host for the hour. I've been a fan of professional wrestling since I was about 6 years old, begging my parents to buy me action figures ever since I saw videos of Jeff Hardy's Swanton bombing on YouTube. We've got another fun one for you today as we here on episode 14 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. We'll cover what happened at WWE's WrestleMania 41 event in Las Vegas. Stay tuned to hear exciting wrestling themes. We also have some exciting segments coming up in our hours, such as our 10-bell history, and we have an interview with the pumped up princess, Phoenix Championship Wrestling AZ's own Taylor Yorke. Let's talk WWE and let's talk WrestleMania 41, which took place last Saturday and Sunday in Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium over Easter weekend. It delivered a two-night spectacle featuring 14 matches, celebrity appearances, and historic moments. Let's recap a bit about what happened. Starting off with Saturday Night 1, the World Heavyweight Championship was up for grabs as Gunther was defending his title against Jey Uso. Jey Uso captured his first singles world title by defeating Gunther after multiple Uso splashes in a sleeper hold. Gunther finally submitted, marking a significant victory for Uso. World Tag Team Championship match was next up as the War Raiders defended their titles against the newly heel-turned New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods clinched the titles with their signature Midnight Hour, giving Woods his first WrestleMania win. It was quite a moment for the New Day there. Jade Cargill versus Naomi was up next in a personal grudge match. Jade Cargill triumphed over Naomi with a decisive powerbomb. Up next, it was the United States Championship match as LA Knight defended his title against a dominating Jacob Fatu. Which, when I say dominating, this man was beating the ever-loving crap out of LA Knight. And he secured the US title after executing a top rope Samoan drop and 2 moonsaults on LA Knight. Next up was Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano. Kind of sad to see Rey Mysterio not get on the card, and also not Chad Gable, who's been putting in the work. But El Grande Americano, utilizing a concealed metal plate in his mask, defeated Rey Fenix with a mid-air headbutt and a top rope finisher. Then was the WWE Women's Championship match as Tiffany Stratton defeated and retained her title against Charlotte Flair, countering a spear into a rolling senton followed by the prettiest moonsault ever. And then in the main event, in a triple threat of Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, filled with betrayals and betrayals, Paul Heyman turned on both Reigns and Punk, aiding Seth Rollins in securing the victory with a stomp on Reigns. Kicking off night 2 was the Women's World Championship triple threat of Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Io Sky retained her title in a high-octane match, pinning Belair after a moonsault. Bianca's undefeated WrestleMania streak ended and she revealed a potential broken finger post-match. Next up was the Sin City Street Fight of Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre emerged victorious in a brutal street fight, delivering a Claymore kick through a steel chair to pin Damian Priest. Next up, Logan Paul defeated AJ Styles, executing a Styles Clash in the Pulverizer. Interference attempts by Paul's entourage and Karrion Kross added to the match's drama. The Women's Tag Team Championship match as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez took on Lyra Valkyrie and a returning Becky Lynch. The duo clinched the titles after Lynch's manhandle slam on Morgan. The Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way match as a defending Braun Breaker took on Finn Balor, Penta, and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio captured the IC title, capitalizing on inner conflicts and executing a decisive move to secure the pinfall. And in the main event of Night 2, John Cena took on the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes to win his 17th world title, a record. With interferences from Travis Scott and underhanded tactics, Cena secured the victory, leading to the retirement of the Universal Championship in recognition of a single WWE Championship reign. My favorite moment from the Raw after Mania had to be Braun Breaker teaming up with Seth Rollins, but I also really liked the returning Rusev. That was a lot of fun. I'm curious to see where this creative direction is going to go this time, being that it's been 5 years since he's last been with WWE. In the meantime, he was Miro in AEW. What a show WrestleMania 41 definitely brought some instant classic moments from the get-go, but what was your favorite Mania 41 moment? I was a big mark for Joe Hendry versus Randy Orton, and I'm glad TNA got its shine at the event. Did anyone see that Joey Janela versus Sabu match at the Joey Janela Spring Break 9 during the collective for GCW during Vegas Mania week? That was some crazy work. I mean, Sabu is 60 years old, and this man went in a barbed wire death match, it seemed like. I thought this man almost died for a second when he went through the barbed wire, laying on the concrete. And there's some exciting news as WWE has acquired the Mexico promotion AAA, AAA, however you want to say it. They have acquired it. On the WWE website, on April 21st, it was announced that part of TKO Group Holdings has announced its acquisition of leading Mexican lucha libre promotion AAA in partnership with Mexico-based sports and entertainment holding company Philippe. The announcement was made in Las Vegas during the WrestleMania 41 Saturday Countdown show with WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H and Philippe's chairman Alberto Fazja, AAA Marcela Peña, and Dorian Roldan Peña, alongside talent including WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio and El Hijo del Vikingo. Additionally, Worlds Collide was announced to take place at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles on Saturday, June 7th at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, featuring WWE stars alongside stars of AAA. AAA was founded in 1992 by Antonio Peña and has been a family-operated business for more than 30 years, with some of the greatest talents in lucha libre history, including Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and Penta, calling AAA a home throughout their careers. The Peña family will continue to be involved in the next chapter of the AAA business alongside WWE and Philippe. AAA has a rich cultural heritage with some of the most passionate fans in the world, and it's an honor to work with the Peña family to embark on this journey, said Triple H. By bringing together WWE's global capability and AAA's amazing tradition, we look forward to having an exciting future filled with new opportunities. The transaction is subject to the satisfaction of customary closing conditions and is expected to close in Q3 of 2025. Also in June, WWE will host Money in the Bank a few hours after the Worlds Collide show, also in LA, but at a different venue. WWE will also return to the Phoenix Arena on the 9th for an episode of Monday Night Raw following these shows. That wraps up the news section of our show. I'm Lance Reese. Before we get into our interview with the Pumped Up Princess, PCW AZ's Taylor Yorke, let's get into our 10 Bell history. 10 Bell history. 1. Andre the Giant once consumed 117 beers in one sitting, as recounted by wrestler Mike Graham. His massive size, 7'4", 520 pounds, allowed him to handle it in quantities that would incapacitate most people. 2. Lucha Libre masks are sacred. In Mexican Lucha Libre, a wrestler's mask is a symbol of identity and honor. Losing a mask in a lucha de apuestas bet match is considered a career-defining humiliation, and some wrestlers, like El Santo, were buried in their masks. 3. The Undertaker's streak almost never happened. The Undertaker's iconic WrestleMania undefeated streak, which was 21-0 before Brock Lesnar broke it in 2014, wasn't planned initially. It evolved organic as WWE realized his consistent victories were becoming a phenomenon. 4. Japan's exploding ring death match. In the 1990s, FMW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, Atsushi Onita popularized exploding ring matches where the ring was rigged with actual explosives that detonated after a time limit, creating one of the most dangerous match types ever. 5. Hulk Hogan's Python problem. During his 1980s WWF run, Hulk Hogan's iconic 24-inch pythons, his biceps, were exaggerated. Wrestlers like Jesse Ventura claimed they were closer to 20 inches, sparking backstage debates about whose arms were truly the biggest. 6. Mick Foley's ear loss. In a 1994 WCW match against Vader, Mick Foley lost part of his ear when his head got tangled in the ropes, which were too tight. He continued the match, and the ears were later reattached, though it didn't fully tape. 7. The Fabulous Moolah's controversial reign. Fabulous Moolah held the WWF Women's Championship for 28 years, from 1956 to 1984, but her reign is controversial. She allegedly exploited female wrestlers by charging them high training fees and taking a cut of their earnings. 8. Mr. Kennedy named his dog Austin after his favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. 9. Gregory Helms' film role. He was the stunt double for David Arquette in the WCW film Ready to Rumble. 10. Tito Santana's victory count. He has 1,071 recorded victories without ever being the WWF World Champion. That wraps it up for our 10 bell history. Do you have a favorite segment of the show? Favorite wrestling theme you want to hear? I think we have some more after our interview. But speaking of, let's listen to our interview with the pumped up princess, Taylor Yorke. I'm joined in studio with Taylor Yorke on what seems to be a hot day in it for April. I mean, it's getting hotter. As an athlete in Arizona, do you have a preferred season to train and compete in?
Oh, absolutely. Like the winter and early spring, especially for wrestling. We are in like a car garage. So we have this fan, but we don't really have like AC. So when it's summer, we are dripping in sweat and it is sweltering hot. So it's starting to get there again. It's, you know.
Yeah, are you from here
Mhm.
originally, Arizona?
Yes, born and raised. And I went to school at Arcadia. I went to Scottsdale Community College, and I've just lived here my whole life, and I love it.
So you're still used to the heat or no?
Yes and no. So there was a while I lived with my best friend, and she had just bought this house, and we would, turn off the AC during peak hours to save money. And then I'd go to like my gym, and my gym, I do CrossFit. So we don't really have too much AC there. We have like a little bit, but we would do a lot of outside running. And then I'd go train, and then I'd be in, a car garage with no AC. So I was just hot all the time. So then whenever I had to go outside, I would just be like, whatever, I'm used to it. But like now I live with my boyfriend and he loves the AC and it's like always cold in the house, and then it's made me a little less used to the heat.
Do you get to travel a lot while wrestling?
Yeah, I've been to quite a few different places just since starting with the school. We would do some shows in LA that we'd help set up. I've wrestled in New Mexico a few times. I've wrestled in Las Vegas a few times. And that's mostly it for now, but there are definitely a lot of other places I'm trying to get out to.
So you talked about like the Southwest region kind of. Do you feel like there's a spike of pro wrestling, not just globally right now, but in the Southwest area?
I think so. I think especially like here in Arizona, there are a lot more places coming up, and like just in general, like New Mexico also, there's a lot
Duke
like going
City?
on there. Yeah, Duke City's great.
Yeah.
And then they have Phase 1 out there too. I've been able to wrestle for both of those. It's been a really nice experience.
What can you say about wrestling for Duke City and Phase 1?
It's definitely a different crowd. I will say like it's just a lot of fun to get out there and wrestle with people who I don't really know or like haven't met before. And they're a lot of fun. The shows out there are a lot of fun. They're always really nice to us when we come from out of state.
Mm. So I have an understanding that you have a theater background. Did that background help you at all in your transition to pro wrestling?
It's like yes, and also no, but yes. In some ways, definitely, and what I've always been told is like my character is like my strong point, and that comes from theater. So I think there's a lot of that and like storytelling that doing theater has helped tremendously with. And, improv skills help a lot too, just like that thinking on your feet. But nothing prepares you for wrestling like doing wrestling. And since I chose theater, I had to stop doing like sports because it took up like my whole life. And so there's that part of me because I didn't know I wanted to do this until I was like maybe 20, 21, already finishing up my theater degree. So like there's just that part of me that's like, man, I wish I would have, done more sports. Like I don't think my high school had wrestling. So I can't even look back and say like, oh, I wish I would have done wrestling in high school, but I wish I would have done wrestling in high school if I had the chance. Like it's like I went and got myself into really good shape. I started doing CrossFit, all this stuff to like prepare for wrestling, and it did help, but like not as much as like actually doing wrestling.
Mm. I like how you were talking about that. I feel like it goes unnoticed. Education and wrestling go hand in hand almost.
Mhm.
There's noticed your socials. You've been going to the elementary schools and talking about some upcoming matches. And what
Oh
have you
yeah.
guys been promoting there? Just the shows or?
So on Friday, tomorrow actually, the 25th, we're doing a show to benefit Holmes Elementary. We're doing a show. It's like at 6:30, and it's $10 for adults, $5 for kids, and it's really to reward the students because they've had a lot of testing in April, and I think this week is the last week of their testing. So we've been going to read to them just to give them a little something to look forward to during those testing weeks because I remember being in school and those were just like the worst,
Yeah.
you know? But it's also really important just to measure where the students are. And so it's been nice, like, it's been so much fun getting to meet those kids. Like, we're so excited to wrestle for them. And they are just so fun. And so it's really like enriching for us, but it's also like we know that we're there to give them a little something to look forward to in the day or something fun. Like we just get to read to them and ask questions and talk to them. It's really cool because a lot of them are actually, watching wrestling. And
Mm.
I asked like one group, I'm like, who's watching WrestleMania this weekend? And they were so excited.
I'm sure they look up to you guys.
I hope so. That's part of like doing this is that you want to be someone that kids want to look up to, or like you want to be what you wanted to look up to as a kid, or what you thought you could be as a kid. I guess.
Mm. So, what was it that inspired you to pursue your pro wrestling career?
For me, so I started watching kind of late. I'd say like 2015, so about 10 years ago. Whereas like I feel like most people were like, "Oh, I've been watching it my whole life." And honestly, I'm kind of jealous, but it is what it is. I found it when I needed to because that was the time when they were starting to care a lot about the women. And so for me, wrestling, I've just always mostly, cared about the women and growing up and doing theater and it placed me in this weird position where I felt like I always had to be like skinny and thin. So when I started to watch wrestling and I noticed like wow, like these girls have muscles and they're big and strong and it's like why would I, want to stay small like I am when I could like become big like these girls. And so I started to work out, I started to get in shape just for me mostly, but because I like looked up to like it was definitely Charlotte was a big inspiration. Rhea Ripley too, definitely, because like she was the one who had like the big muscles, and it's like I didn't know that girls could look like that, and she looks awesome. So that inspired me to get in shape, and then doing theater. I was in like my last year. I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing it after college. Just I had some bad experiences with directors that made me go like, is it worth it?
Mm.
And all of my friends were like, dude, you should be a wrestler. You love wrestling. Like, you could totally do it. Like, you should try it. So,
And you have the best of both worlds, fitness and theater.
yeah,
It's
that is like, those are what I bring to the table.
pretty good. Um, so you're one of only two women that have been able to, I'd say, sustain training at the AZ Pro Wrestling Training Center. Can you give me some more perspective on what it's like to be one of the only girls to train in that environment?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I've seen, a few girls come and go. We had one girl move away and she's still wrestling. So me and her, we're really good friends. We keep in touch, but it's hard because wrestling is very much made for men. Not to say that women can't do it because they do, but there's a lot of like things about it. It's just like physically made for men. So I feel like as a woman, you have to kind of bridge that gap in some way or another so that you can keep up with the men because we train at our school to be at the level of the guys. There's no, oh, well, that's fine, you're a girl, and that's okay if you can't do that type of thing. So it's definitely hard. We always want more girls, and, we have a tryout coming up, and I hear that there's more girls, and I always root for them. Every time we get a new girl at a tryout, I'm always like, we're about the sisterhood, right? And it's just such a weird thing because there's only us two girls, me and Zamaya. And then, you know, now I go like somewhere else and I'm so used to wrestling her all the time. So it's like, okay, different dance partner. And yeah, I would just love to see more girls come through. It's a lot to stick through. I mean, we had one girl, she made it through our 6-week conditioning that happens after our tryout. And she was also a high school wrestler. She was a really awesome girl, but unfortunately just back problems got in the way. And so it's like sometimes like that, it's just really unfortunate. And you hope that maybe in the future things can be better. And then you get girls who come in and they quit on the first day. And I mean, you get guys who quit on the first day.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, you get
everyone who's going to quit on the first day, but not
yes.
everyone.
Oh my gosh, we've seen groups drop like flies on day 2. Like
Jeez.
We had a full group one day on Tuesday, and then Thursday it was just one guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you, like you mentioned, Zamaya, you seem to be working matches with Zamaya quite a bit. Has she played any part in your training?
Yes, she's probably played the biggest part of my training. I don't know if she realizes it or not, but because it's us, most of the time, and we've been fortunate enough to like get to go to other places. Like we wrestled each other in Duke City, and that was a really fun experience and a really important experience because it might have been my second or third match, and we went and did a fair show, and it was something it's like we got there and we got ready, and then we went out there and had the match. And afterwards, I was like, I don't know, I think that went good. And, having her there to, like, help me out and let me know, like, how I'm doing and helping me feel more confident, it's made a huge difference. And at the end of the day, like, as much as I'm always trying to, like, chase her in a way because of, like, where she is, like, I want to be on that level, she also helps me feel more confident in myself as a performer. And that means the world to me.
For you, what is the hardest part about this business?
So back to me being a theater kid, right?
Yeah.
And I took like every stage combat class, and I was like 5'5" and 110 pounds, and they'd never put me in fight scenes, whatever. I was pretty good with the swords, but actors are very much like, my body is my value. Don't hurt me, whatever. And I thought, like, no, I'm tough. I'm a tough girl. Like, I'm better than, those actors I used to work with. Like, I did a play, and I told a girl, like, you could slap me. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll live. And she was like, I could never do that. Like, she was kind of offended that I asked her. So that's, like, where I came from. And I thought, like, no, I'm a big, tough girl. I could do it. And just sometimes, like, I'm just not used to the physicality. Which, again, it's, like, having not really come from that sports background, Like, that was, like, a whole new world to me. Like, you can be as in shape as, you think you are. Like, you can do CrossFit RX workouts during the week, but when you have someone running at you who's like twice your size and you're not used to that, it's a hard thing to mentally work around.
Yeah. Because
as much as I guess you know how to protect yourself in wrestling, your brain is still like, this is going to hurt you. Like, so having to, I guess, like, the physicality of it is really my biggest challenge.
I feel like I've heard that commonplace with actors in wrestling, like David Arquette. I remember him talking about a match he had with Nick Gage.
Yeah.
and him being like, I'm an actor, don't cut me.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm pretty. This is my moneymaker, my face. Like, do not. Yeah. It's a weird thing to unlearn because we were taught for years and years, protect your body. Your body is your biggest asset, and your voice and whatever. But actors are very, very much like, do not hurt me.
Mm. So, what's been a hidden joy you've discovered in your career?
A hidden joy.
Like anything that you weren't really expecting to, that really, once you got into it, it really piqued your interest?
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, I guess I realized to, I love picking people up. I really do. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm like shocked that I'm like able to a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But and I like carrying people around. Like I don't know what it is. Like one time, Jake, my boyfriend, he got hurt at training. I can't remember. It might have been when he broke his foot, and I was like, "Come here, let me give you a piggyback ride. Like get on my back." I love doing stuff like that, and I love doing it like in the ring too. Like I would always get someone up for a body slam and like walk around with them. It would just be like so, like wow, I could do that. It's very empowering in a way.
Mm. So, although it's fairly early in your career, what are some of your biggest accomplishments personally for you thus far?
Okay, well, this is kind of silly, but my first match, it's my unofficial first match, but it was I was dressed as Wonder Woman and I was wrestling someone dressed as Deadpool, and it was for Fan Fusion last year.
Mm.
And it was right before the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie came out. So it got like 15,000 views on YouTube.
Wow.
Something crazy like that. And it's like, it's not a great match, it's my first match. And it looks like someone's first match. But the fact that it got that many views is kind of funny to me. So, like, that's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's good. That's good for like a first match too, and it's. I feel like I was talking to last interview RJ Wild about this. He took a lot of pride in his first match.
Yeah, well, he's
I feel
an
like
awesome athlete,
yeah,
too.
but I feel like that's got to be common for most wrestlers. Like that's got to be like your baby. You're just
I think you should be proud of it. I mean, you can't expect it to be perfect. Like,
yeah.
I watch it back sometimes too because it'll just randomly pop up on YouTube, and I'll just be like, why not? And it really helps me realize like, wow, I've come so far. I look back at it, and there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I remember I definitely messed that up, and like going back now, I would have not done that like that, or this would have been done differently. But it was just a silly, fun match to entertain, you know, a comic convention crowd, and like my family was there, which was awesome.
Mm. So you're talking that was on YouTube. Is that where most people would be able to access your past matches?
Yes, yeah, it should be on the Phoenix Championship Wrestling YouTube.
Mm. What can you say about your mentors?
I have some of the best mentors. For like the big guy Don Vitale, he's like the head honcho. The way he sees not only wrestling but life is something I look up to. He's very much a person who believes in you have to work hard to get what you want, and being one of his students, it makes you want to work hard and harder than you thought you could. When you think you've worked hard enough, like you got to work harder, and that's the work ethic I feel as though he has brought out of me, has gotten me to where I am, and I'm very grateful for that. He's very just smart about the business. Like he knows wrestling, and he knows what good wrestling looks like, and he knows what we need to get to that next level. And then we also have Gallo. He's not there as much, but when he is there, it's like the difference in like a day of him being there is huge.
Mm.
He's a great teacher. And another guy who just knows so much about the business and also has an insane work ethic. Like he travels with AEW Dynamite, does security there, and for like all their shows, not just Dynamite. But he also will post like a picture like middle of the night, empty hotel gym, because he's someone who, no matter how tired he is still gonna get his workout in. And so it's that type of thing where if I'm like tired, I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the gym. I'm like, Gallo would do it. Gallo would be in that hotel gym at 3 a.m. So why can't I? And then we also have like Graves is another really great mentor we have, because he likes to get really into the nitty gritty of character and storytelling. And it's awesome because it's like, that's the stuff that like I feel like I should know, but also there's so much with wrestling. Like there's so much to learn, and you talk to someone like him and you're like, wow, I still have so much I gotta learn. He's also probably made me cry the most and is still one of my favorite people ever. And then we have Max, who teaches our Monday classes, and another person who you hear him talk about wrestling and you're like, wow, I really don't know anything about this. But he is a great teacher, and he teaches us a lot about like psychology, but also like in ring, he'll challenge us. He'll do these drills and he'll have us do stuff, and it's like, I had never done this before. And that's also a lot of fun too. I got a shout out Class and Devin, Pretty City Express. Those guys have helped me tremendously. I think Devin has probably helped me the most out of a lot of people there. They are always trying to learn and get better and do anything they can to improve. And they also are sharing that like experience and knowledge that they get with the students, which is really cool.
There seems to be a great sense of camaraderie going on between everyone involved. Would you say that range is true?
I would say so. I mean, we spend so much time together. Like, if you're there Monday through Thursday, like 6 to 9, that's like a good 12 hours a week you're spending around these people. So it's like you'd hope you'd get along at least somewhat. But no, I mean, there's a lot of like this feeling of you've been through the trenches with these people, if not during the conditioning or the early parts of training, which are just brutal and all of that stuff. Like, you also go through 12 plus hour days putting on shows and setting up the ring and tearing it down, and you're done and it's like 1 a.m. All of that stuff too, we all go through together. So there's definitely a lot of I guess camaraderie is the best word for it.
As we wrap up episode 14 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse, I'm Lance Reese, and I've been joined in studio with Taylor Yorke. And Taylor, I have one last question for you. What in this business makes it worth the countless hours of work?
So I got like two things. The first thing is I've been a performer my whole life, and it is all I've really known how to do. I did ballet when I was 3, and then from there I always did dance, I always did theater, and I just I live to be in front of people. And if that means I have to get my butt kicked a billion times over, I love every second of it, no matter how many bumps and bruises I get. I love interacting with the crowd. I love just being in front of an audience. So that to me is the big part that, why in the first place I even did it, is a love for wrestling itself, but also my love for performing. And the other part of it that makes it worth it is I've been lucky enough, I met my boyfriend Jacob through wrestling, and all of the hours on the road, all of the 12, 13-hour show days and long nights of training where you feel like garbage afterwards, and we're always doing it together, and that's a pretty cool thing, because it's like at the end of the day, no matter what happens to me or my career, we definitely have made memories that could last a lifetime together, and I love that. So yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on Wrestlezona, Taylor.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Well, that wraps up episode 14 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. I'm Lance Reese, and I am so happy that I had the opportunity to speak with Taylor Yorke on today's episode, and I'm so happy that you joined along. Do you have a favorite segment of the show? Favorite theme song that you're missing out on and you want to hear on the show? Shoot me a DM on Instagram at Wrestlezona is where you can find me. Again, Lance Reese with Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse, and until next time,